Hey everyone, welcome back to my NHL Redesign series. Before I get into today's video, I'd like to bring up that I will not be on camera for the next few videos. I'm just having some minor issues with my camera, and while I try to fix it, I'm going to be doing audio coverage like this. I should have this issue resolved before my NFL series starts on December 28th, so bear with me until then. So now that that's said, welcome to my All-Star concept video. This should be a pretty quick one because the jerseys are pretty well identical, as most All-Star jerseys tend to be. However, I do want to talk about some minor changes I'd like to make to them. So first up is the Atlantic Division, as you can see. But before I talk about the jersey, I'd like to bring your attention to the top left corner of the image. The All-Star logo there may or may not be official. I'm not too sure, as I pulled it off Google months ago, and I can't remember if it is official NHL or if it's fan-made. So if you do know if it's official or fan-made, if it is fan-made, please leave it in the comments below. If you know the artist, and leave his or her name as well. I'd really like to add their name to the description and in a pinned comment on this video as well. So now that all the housekeeping is taken care of, onto the jersey now. I'll bring it up now so that I don't have to do it 4 times. The logo, rather than being the typical large crest in the center of the jersey, has been relegated to the bottom right of the torso. Wherein lies my main issue with most of the designs. Most of the teams look absolutely fantastic, but there are a few changes I'd like to make. First off, I'd flip the Panther in Florida's logo, just the Panther, so the word mark stays the same, but just so the Panther is facing the center of the jersey. I do the same with the Sabres, Red Wings logos as well. Just so the Buffalo was facing the center, and just so that the wheel of the Red Wings logo was in the center of the jersey as well. Next up, I would shrink the Toronto Maple Leafs logo and move it up a little bit, just so it said Toronto Maple Leafs rather than cutting off just before the final word there. Last up, as you can clearly see, Ottawa has the wrong logo. I made these jerseys forever ago, just after Seattle got their logo and name introduced, and just before the official Ottawa change of their logo. I honestly prefer that logo, so I'm not even upset about it. But of course, if I were to remake these, I would have to use the right logo. Aside from those changes, these are fantastic designs in my opinion. I'll bring it up at the beginning of every division now, but the red I used, if you couldn't tell, was Ottawa's. They are my favorite team, so I'm going to use as much inspiration from them as possible. And the striping pattern actually was inspired by both a combination of Pittsburgh and Boston. Maybe a few other teams. It's just a very basic pattern, so it's very Original Six like Boston, and very mid-2000s Pittsburgh. I used each division's crest as a small chest patch, as you can see. They're also recolored slightly from the 2020 All-Star Game, just to add the division's color in there, and a little white bar as well. Not too much going on with that logo. I just felt like I needed to bring it up. And I'd like to address my favorite of each division, just because they're my designs. Of course, I'm going to have a favorite from each division. And at the end, and during the Pacific Division, you'll see one of my absolute favorites from all of them, and probably my hands down my favorite of all of them ended up being my favorite from the division. We'll get there eventually. But my favorite of these is actually Ottawa. Despite having the wrong logo, again, it's preferred to me. The coloring looks great. Of course, it's Ottawa's red, so that logo is going to look good in that color, but it's just the right size, right proportions. It just looks fantastic to me. It looks the best out of these 8. Moving forward, we do have the Metropolitan Division repping Pittsburgh yellow. This jersey points out a flaw that the red one hid a little better. If you look to the collar where the NHL crest is held, it's the main jersey color. It's that yellow, red, blue, and green, depending on the jersey. I would change that. I'd make it black so it blends in better with the collar, and leave just the edge of the collar with the only color on that area. Just that nice yellow stripe, red stripe, blue stripe, or green stripe, depending on the division. A few more changes I'd like to make would be I would flip the Pittsburgh logo so that he's facing the center of the jersey. You'll see I did this a lot. I probably should have just put the logo on the other side, and I probably wouldn't have had this issue with a lot of these teams. I would also shrink and move up both the Flyers, Rangers, and Islanders logos just to better fit the words on there. So it would say the S of the Rangers wouldn't be cut off, the word Islanders wouldn't be like cut in half, and I would just get that a little bit more of the Flyers logo in there just to complete the P. Again, we're going to be moving through these three divisions, the Metropolitan, Central, and Pacific, just because they're not much I'm actually talking about aside from what I would change and what my favorite is. But my favorite of these is actually a tie between Carolina and Washington. They just look absolutely fantastic in black and yellow. I'm not sure what to pick. If I had to pick one, probably Washington, just because that eagle is typically 2 colors, and Carolina is usually that 3 or 4 colors, and it kind of needs that differentiation. But aside from that, the logo, how I made it, looks fantastic, but I just think Washington pulls ahead a little bit more. But both are great, like I said. Next up, of course, is the Central Division, rocking St. Louis blue. Again, the same changes I've made before. St. Louis, Minnesota, and Chicago would be flipped to face the center. One major thing I would do is I would make a better job of differentiating the leaf from the jet in Winnipeg's logo, maybe by just like creating a slight outline and then coloring that black and then having the leaf be red or blue or whatever, just to change it up a little bit. And I do the same in Minnesota's logo. I would differentiate the little sun there from the eye. As you can see, it's just a big black dot. Minnesota has done a monochrome style using only 1 or 2 colors to recolor their logo before, and they just used a little outline of the sun and then made it the same color as the green bit in their main logo. I would do that as well. That it would just look better to me. Aside from those changes, not much I would do. My favorite of these is hands down Arizona. Just the way that Coyote sits on that jersey is perfect. It lends itself to being black and blue very well, and I'm very proud of that one. Moving forward, last up, of course, is the Pacific Division, wearing Vancouver green. And just so you know, as a whole, this is my favorite division appearance-wise. All of these logos just lent themselves to being green and black very well. And again, I'd make the same changes as before. I would shrink Anaheim, Calgary, and LA. I'd move LA up a bit also, just so that you can see the crown on the jersey as well. And if it were up to me, of course, I would completely change San Jose's logo. As you guys know, I'm not a big fan of it at all. My favorite of this division, as you can see, just because the logo is brand new into the league. It's beautiful. It lent itself so well to green. I have to say my absolute favorite of this division and of all 32 teams, Seattle Kraken, man. It is beautiful. Like I said, just the logo lends itself to green so well that I would honestly consider swapping out the green for red in their color scheme. It looks that nice. So that was it for today. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. Let me know what you thought in the comments down below and any changes you'd like to make. Leave a like and subscribe if you feel so inclined. My next video, of course, will be my exhibition game video. I keep talking about it. And I'll get more into what that means in that video, of course. And so today I am going to be trying out a new outro moving forward. So let's try that now. So thank you for coming. Have a great day. And until next time, stay positive.